Hi, folks. KP Khalsa here with a little refresher about our 7-week detoxification program. Just a reminder of some of the rules and regulations, rules of the road. So the whole purpose of this thing is to go with the spirit of the detox. These are not military orders. They're not rigid rules. There's a plan. You're going to get best results if you stick to the plan, but I can't customize it for every single person. So some of you have different kinds of issues with carbohydrates and others with wanting to include other foods or other teas, or you're already taking drugs or certain other supplements. So all those questions have been answered. But bottom line, the program is to take the things that are indicated. There are some things that we're going to use every week, all 7 weeks throughout the entire program, and some things that are for each week only, and we shift from week to week. So it's not a crisis if you don't do everything perfectly. There's not a catastrophe that's going to happen if you put a teaspoon of cream in your herbal tea. Those minor issues are just up to you to decide, and in fact you can decide major issues. If you just decide that for whatever preference or medical reason or doctor's advice or anything else you can't eat khichdi, then just focus on the vegetables. If there's a particular vegetable that you know you're allergic to or causes a problem, then don't use it. If you start to have a problem, back off. So this isn't about rigidity, it's about results. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, and a little wiggle room around the edges is not a big deal. Incidental condiments are insignificant. If you want to put something in your khichdi for the sake of taste, coriander or anything else like that that's not on our specific list, go ahead. All small quantity spices are on you, and you can decide. You can use any small bean, you can use any small seed or grain, amaranth, buckwheat, quinoa, all those things that you want in your khichdi. You don't have to eat any khichdi. That's just to give you enough calories so that you can make it through the 7 weeks. The khichdi is neither building nor detoxifying. It's about halfway between. So both the rice and the beans have some tissue building properties, but mung beans in particular are also slightly detoxifying. So we get about a 50-50 mixture there. You can survive on khichdi for months at a time. You put some vegetables in there, you get some added other nutrients, but the vegetables that we've chosen are vegetables that are known to detox specific organs. So there's no crisis, relax, don't worry about it. Get with the spirit of the thing rather than the specific details. It's not a crime if you eat something that's not on the list. I gave you recipes that included some things that were on the list. We'll get to recipes in just a second. So to summarize where we are, there's a list of things that you're using throughout the entire 7-week program. That's khichdi, which is a neutral food to give you enough calories so you can make it for the 7 weeks. It's also clean eating. So the number one thing with all of this is no junk food. So all the things that are listed, no sugar, no other junky additives, preservatives, no processed food, that kind of thing. If you want to use beans from a can, it's not the end of the world. Feel free to do so. The best way to go through this is to do everything exactly as indicated, but if you just find that for whatever reason, you can't or don't want to do it, then just back off it a little bit. You'll still get some benefit. All right, so the khichdi is going to happen every day if you desire it. It's available to you to eat every single day. And you can make it ahead and freeze or refrigerate it if you want. And then there are a few personal choice items that you can add or not if you like. Olive oil, ghee, pear, coffee. Ideally, we wouldn't be using coffee in a detox, but I know that most of you are drinking coffee, and if you stop abruptly, you're going to be very dysfunctional for many days, and it's going to give you a headache. So if you can stop, then great. If you're going to continue to drink it, it's not the end of the world. Just reduce it. And if you can gradually reduce over the time, that would be good. Typically, we don't have flesh food on detox like this, but if you decide that for whatever reason, your philosophy, your diet, your underlying issue, turkey or lamb would be good substitutes. The no list is, as I was saying, no sugar or product with added sugar, no processed foods, no other fats and added oils. Now, if you end up using a little bit of coconut in one of your dishes, it's not the end of the world. The idea is not to use junky fats or a wide variety of fats or fats that might be more or less digestible. This is not about limiting your diet to only healthy foods. That's partly it. But just because a food is healthy doesn't mean that it's detoxifying. So many of you have asked about nuts. Nothing wrong with nuts. They're perfectly fine food, but they're high in protein, high in fat, a little bit more difficult to digest. They're anabolic or tissue building, not detoxifying. We're trying to find a happy medium here where people can detoxify moderately slowly so that they can make it through the whole 7 weeks and not have side effects. If you're having any kind of difficulty with a side effect, then just back off a little bit. No fruits other than the one mentioned. We have typically one fruit mentioned per week. You can eat that any way you want. If you're allergic to it, don't eat it. Ideally, it would be better to eat fruits separately. So if you want to eat fruits as a meal, just have your whole breakfast be that particular fruit, or your lunch, or whatever. No other artificial ingredients. The quantities are going to be to your comfort. Eat as much as you feel like you want to use. This is relatively low calorie food, and we just want you to have satiety. The vegetables that are listed can be consumed in any form: raw, for those that you normally would eat raw, cooked, and or juice. Not a juice fast. A juice fast for 7 weeks would not have adequate calories to keep you comfortable. But if you want to use some of these things, let's say in between meals as a juice fast, as a juice meal, that's perfectly fine. Any medication or herbal medicine that's controlling a symptom, of course you're going to continue any prescribed drugs, that goes without saying. But anything that's working well for you, you have some condition and you're taking some natural medicine that's controlling that symptom, by all means continue to do that. Week 1 is emphasizing digestion. So the diet is khichdi and or your personal choice of the various vegetables, fennel, leeks, onion, and some condiments: cayenne, chili peppers, thyme, etc., right from our list. You can use any or all of those as you choose. If you need to add a little bit of extra something for palatability of a recipe, a little coriander, a little fennel, it's not a crisis. You can go ahead and do that if you feel like you want to. So the khichdi recipes are to be used all 7 weeks. There are many of them. You could go online and find 100 others. Do the best you can to stick to the original idea. The simplest khichdi would be half mung beans, half rice, enough water to make it soupy, and eat that every day for 7 weeks. That would be the simplest and sort of most detoxifying, but modest condiments are allowed. Herbal medicine is typically dosed using the metric system. So that's grams and milligrams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. If the dose of something is 1 gram and you have 500 milligram capsules, you would take 2 500 milligram capsules. That equals 1,000 milligrams. That equals 1 gram. Likewise, if the dose is in milligrams and you have something that's measured in grams, you can deal with that. 2,000 milligrams would be 2 grams. Grams are a measure of mass or weight, not volume. There are many questions about the volume issue. There is no equivalence between volume and weight that you can use to measure these things. And so you'll find all kinds of conversion tables on the internet, not reliable, because herbal medicines have dramatically different densities, up to maybe 2 or 3 times difference. So we want to weigh them. So many of these products will come pre-weighed, a capsule that weighs 1 gram each or 500 milligrams each. If you have 600 milligram capsules, that's 6/10 of a gram. All right, so in terms of the way we're taking these things, we're working our way into each of these new remedies. In week 1, we're using ginger and or tricotue. Tricotue is 1/3 ginger, but for some people, the black pepper and long pepper is a little too hot, and you can make the adjustment there in whatever way you like. You can take half ginger and half tricotue, which would cool it down a little bit. It's still a warm remedy. Or you could use all ginger. You can use either or both of those things, which just a matter of your own tolerance. So most people find ginger to be warming, but not overly warming, and you can take a bit more of it than the tricotue. So all this is your own adjustment according to your comfort. We want you to have a warm tummy with each meal, but not discomfort. So I suggested starting these doses with 1 gram in the case of the week 1 herbs, ginger or tricotue, per meal. So that would be 1,000 milligrams or 2 500 milligram capsules. And then I said increase by 1 gram per meal until you get to that mildly hot tummy. So 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So the first day you could take 1 gram with each meal. That's comfortable. The next gram you could try 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams with each meal, and you work your way up. The triphala we're going to be taking every single week in the same dose, and you want to find a dose. Many of you are probably there within 2, 3, 4 days of a dose that gives you a nice, moist, soft, comfortable stool. And I suggested taking it in the evening so that you arise with the bowel movement, a comfortable, soft, wet bowel movement in the morning. So I suggested starting at 1 gram, which is 1,000 milligrams at bedtime. If that doesn't generate a bowel movement upon arising, then you need to take either a higher dose or take it at a different time. So gradually increase the dose by 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram per day, and then adjust the dose. If it's waking you up too early, then take it later. If you're not having the bowel movement upon arising, then take it earlier. All right, so trefoil is going to be every single day. Once you've established your dose that's comfortable, continue that dose for 7 weeks. Each week, the herbal doses will change. In each week, there are 2 possible herbs to take. You can take either or both. Both would be the full program. You stair-step your way up, like we just talked about, gradually increasing the dose of both herbs. If for whatever reason you would prefer to spend less money or be a little more conservative or start with one of them, that's perfectly fine. You could start with one for a few days and then add in the other one. It's all customizable. The main thing is that you're getting in the maximum amount of these detoxifying vegetables and detoxifying herbs, but not having any discomfort. When it comes to the weekly handouts, we know there are a lot of materials. I gave you 38, now I think it's up to 39 files in week 1. Those are not all to be applied to week 1. Most of those are just gifts from me to you about these various herbs, how they work, different foods, the phytochemistry of it, what detox is all about, how to rate your own detox, many different possibilities there. The ones that we want you to pay attention to initially are the ones that are called just recipe in the title. So open up all the recipe files, find the recipe that you like for khichdi, experiment with it, adapt it, use these various seeds and grains as you like, use various condiments that are appropriate for you. You can cook the vegetables for the week. In this case, it was leeks, onion, and that whole group. You can steam those separately. You can cook them into your khichdi. You can do it any way you want. Just focus on those things, nothing from the no group, everything from the include group according to your choice. So we want you to focus on the recipes. If you open the folder, the recipes are in numbered files, and our team will include what else to focus on throughout our weekly emails. And so you'll be getting emails that give you more instruction about these things as we proceed. But many of these documents include many detox type remedies. So focus on the ones that include the weekly choices for the vegetables. So those are the fennel bulb, leek, and onion, and then the khichdi recipes. Next week, you'll go back into your recipes files and you look at things that are involved there. So next week is going to be a liver emphasis, so it'll be beets, carrots, and radishes, turnips, rutabagas, etc., artichoke, many different recipes there as well. So a lot of the recipes are in week 1 to use for the whole course as you choose, and I'll be giving you more additional recipes for the particular weekly vegetables as we proceed. So each week, open up the file for that particular week. It's fairly simple. It's just like the food we discussed earlier in this video. You don't have to read everything, but it's all there for your benefit. Those things that are not recipes, they're just articles about particular herbs or detoxification concepts. Just put those somewhere and read them as is comfortable. Ideally, read them as early as possible, because many of you are asking questions about detoxification that are very basic conceptual questions, and we'll be going over those in the videos week by week by week. But if you want to get a head start on that, open those up and educate yourself about the process of detox. The earlier, the better. Focus on the recipes initially. Well, these 3 areas of concern are things that a lot of people have been asking questions about. So hopefully this little video will give you some good instruction, some background, some context, and we'll get to a consensus on what this whole thing is all about. Remember, the purpose of this thing is to help your health. It's to relax, get in the spirit of the whole thing. We don't have to have every detail perfectly. Get up and keep up. That's my motto. It's just show up, sign in, and do your best. And a little bit of a slip here and there is no big deal, and you work it out. So hopefully we can all enjoy the rest of this detox together, and I hope this information was valuable. See you in class sometime soon.